So thank you guys so much for coming back. I know it's been a long 2 days and we're so happy that you're still here with us. For those of you that were with us yesterday or earlier today, you already know me. For new people, my name's Alissa Terry. I'm a genetic counselor in upstate New York and the project manager for NIMAC. I'm excited to be talking with everyone today again about collaboration. So this was the topic that Molly and I discussed yesterday, and I'm going to click right through there because we're basically doing a continuation of what we started yesterday. So I apologize for clicking through these, but we're going to get to how this stuff relates to what we did yesterday morning. So as with yesterday, I'm sorry, went too many on me. As with yesterday, Molly and I don't have any financial disclosures that we need to share with you. And at this point, I am going to hand it over to Molly to help us think through a little bit as a way to get started, what our experience has been like in this meeting.
Yeah, thanks, Alissa. Yesterday morning feels like a lifetime ago. There's been lots of information, lots of sharing, and like Erica said, we hope you guys are still with us and kind of along this journey as we kind of move and try to wrap this up in these ideas of collaboration. So what we really want to talk about, though, is we kind of want to get a gauge from the group and really feel, see how you feel about collaboration and how this happened during the meeting. So we're going to start this off with a little bit of polling again, like we did yesterday, and then we'll get some feedback as well. So I see the first one up. Thank you. So this first poll is really asking you, we really want to know, how much do you feel your perspective was valued during the meeting? So if you could let us know, we'd love to hear that.
Right, you're asking the tough questions now, Molly. So people are thinking.
Plus, it takes a little bit to get back from break and get, looking where you have to click and all of that. But yeah, we'd really appreciate this. And how does that, if you scroll down to the second question's right there too, about how does this compare to other groups you've worked with? Again, when you are in other teams, how do you feel these went this last 2 days?
I'm really going to give just a few more seconds here because I want to make sure people do have a chance to answer this one. It's such an important question, although you will follow up with more about this. So if you're hovering over a decision between numbers, now is the time to commit in 3, 2, 1. And here you go, Molly, and everyone, here are the results.
Perfect. So, so as you can see, I have to scroll down. See, I was like looking, we had lots of 7, 8, 9s, and 10s. Again, I feel like that's really well about how they felt their perspective was valued. There's a couple of ones, maybe my hope is that you missed the rating scale. Sometimes that happens because really, I know as we were helping to pull some of this material together and conversations I had with the NIMAC team and Alissa, it really was about hoping that everybody felt that their perspective was valued. And then a large portion of everyone said that they really felt that they were more valued their perspective here. So that was great. We, again, we worked really hard to try to ensure that. So next, we're just going to go to a little bit more meeting feedback. It's going to kind of set us up for some of our activities that we're going to do next. So if you could just move us to that next little bit of feedback, Erica, I'd love that.
Yep, I put it in chat. I put links in chat, a link in chat.
Thank you. And again, thank you everyone for participating. I know it's late and it's been a long time, but again, we'd love to have your feedback.
Yeah, so the link in chat is going to take you to a SurveyMonkey that you can give us a little more information. When you get there, you have the option of telling us your name if you want to, if you want us to reach out, or if you're interested in sharing more with us about your input. But if you want to submit anonymous notes, please feel free to do that too. And that includes if you did struggle in the meeting or you felt like there were times where you saw things that could have been done differently or better, we really want your honest feedback. So feel free to share your real experience there with us. And we really very much value what you say, and it helps us shape what we're going to do next year.
Yeah, thank you, Alissa. And Alissa, am I correct? We're just gathering that feedback and then we're going to just move on. We're not sharing that, right?
You got it.
Correct?
Yep.
Yeah, and Molly,
Yeah, that will not be shared.
Yeah, this feedback is going directly to the NIMAC organizers. It's not a poll, it's a survey. So there's room for people to give longer answers. So I think the idea here is to make some time in the meeting. So we have some writing music. Fred has some writing music that we could take a few minutes and just give people time to really give a good answer, take the time to give your answer so you don't have this as homework. This is a little time to do this now, and then we'll move to the next section after a few minutes. How does that sound, Molly?
That sounds perfect. Thank you, Erica.
All right, let's check in. I'm going to jump up to the front of the room here. Let's just do a little hand waving poll here before. If you're still need some time to write, go ahead and like wiggle your fingers. Take your fingers off the keyboard and say, I'm still giving some feedback here. I'll put it in chat. All right, I think we've got some feedback, Michelle. So I'm sorry, Molly. So should I pass back to you to say a few words on that, or directly to Alissa?
I would just say thank you for everyone for filling that out. Like she said, we, like Alissa said, we love to get that honest feedback, and it helps us as we plan for next year. But Alissa, why don't you kind of walk us through what we're going to do next?
Absolutely. So as Erica said, we're going to spend some time now in some discussions and some writing activities that are really aimed to help us think about everything we learned over the past 2 days, the new perspectives we heard, and how are we going to take that into our real life and apply it. So that's how we're going to spend our time today, is really getting us to the point where we have those solid takeaways and next steps. And I'm going to let Erica lead us on that journey.
Thank you, Alissa. All right, so we have a series of, mainly I'm going to be the sort of error traffic here, just telling you what you're doing and what you're doing, because a lot of what's going to happen is going to be a combination of writing and discussion. So what we have from the NIMAC team are a list of about 30 subtopics that are related to an area that collaboration could help improve access to genetic services. And for this activity, for this next 45, 50 minutes together that you'll be working on in small groups and also in your own collaborative writing and some also surprise writing, everyone will be choosing a subtopic to take on. So we know that it might feel like a big choice. So we're going to launch a poll here to first just step gently into this and think of these six topics. Which topic most interests you and how to improve access to genetic services? You can see the poll is up here and you can read the topics. And I'll also put the same list in chat just so that if you're not able to access the poll right now, you'll be able to see this. And then in a moment when this settles down, we'll share the results, and that will give us an idea of all the work that's going to be done collectively in this room as this goes. I know Alissa is standing by wondering, how are people distributing? Is everybody in one room? Or there was an effort here to think, who are these people? Who's here at 3 o'clock? And how might they distribute themselves in interest? And Alissa, I think you did a fantastic job. I can see the preview here, how people have distributed. So make your final choices here. This is a warm up to choices. Thank you, Jessica, for putting an answer in chat too. This is a warm up to choices because what's going to happen next is I'm going to ask you to choose a subtopic under your topic. So then you'll have 2 or 3 or 4 up to 7 choices under your subtopic. All right, thank you, Fred, for ending the poll. And Alissa, these are the results so far, Alissa and Molly. So
very nice
from the organizing team that we have. a nice distribution of what will be the collective work of this group over the next 45 minutes or so. All right, as promised, I'm going to go ahead, or actually, Fred, could you go ahead and grab that gigantic list and put it in chat of the 6 different topics, and under each one, there are subtopics. And we have attempted to logically make this, so if it's topic 5, there's 5A, 5B, 5C, 5D. So once that is in chat, then you can, this is your preview, because in a couple minutes, I'm going to ask you to choose which one of those you're going to take on. And it doesn't matter, it's fine if several people take on one, but you're going to get to make your own choice. I'm going to just be quiet for a moment while everyone has a chance to read as the chat fills up with all 6 topics. We're going to experiment with a way of working together where you don't actually know who else is working in your topic area or your subtopic area. Sometimes when you know who else is in the room, it might affect the way you carry yourself or the way that you answer a question or what you put out there. And one of the most amazing things about working online is that we have all these different tools to poll anonymously, to ask questions, like you've been doing this whole time, people sharing their stories on the screen. And we don't know who's sharing that story, but it's somebody's real experience. So we are going to, and this is all a courageous experiment in doing this, and it might be messy, but we've attempted to structure it into steps at a time. So what I'm going to do now, some of you are revealing your secrets in chat. I'm going to launch another poll, and this poll, because of how Zoom works, I'm going to explain how this works. First, you have to know which is your topic, and you have to commit to all the other 5 topics to answer the one that has all the asterisks. It says, I'm choosing a subtopic from a different category. Then find your topic area and choose which one you're choosing. And you might be wondering, what does it mean to commit to this? It means you're going to be the steward of thinking about this for the next bit of time. You're going to do some writing on it in a way that you will be anonymous. And you'll do some moving around, looking at what other people are writing. And then we'll have time that you'll share with other people on your topic. But first, we're just getting some commitments here of what subtopic you're taking on.
I don't know if I'm demonstrating that it's late in the day or I failed on the instructions, but I'm at the subtopic thing, and I think I've made really a great choice here, but I'm not able to submit.
Yeah, I'm not either. It seems to be asking us to pick one.
You'll have to choose that last option that says I'm choosing a subtopic from a different category in the topics that you're not choosing.
Right, but we've done that, but we shouldn't choose another one, because if you choose that other one, then you're stuck. You can't submit.
You know what? This poll is more about giving you scaffolding your commitment than it is about needing to know the answer. So I think we see about 50 people have found a way to answer it. And if you haven't figured out a way to answer it, it doesn't really matter. We're not going to make it. It is a little bit curious to see, but there's a beautiful distribution. So I'm going to just end the poll. Just remember what you've chosen. The next step is going to be to go into a little group. So now you've gone through this process to think which topic and subtopic interests you the most and how to improve access to genetic services. So before you launch into the writing, the anonymous writing part on this, we're going to send you into little discussion groups where we'll just have you introduce yourself to someone else, share what subtopic or topic area you selected, and what's important to you about that, or what's interesting to you about that. What's the challenge about that? And that way you'll have some time to ground yourself in that before we lead you through some structured writing, looking at stakeholders, barriers to getting those stakeholders in the room, and solutions to getting the stakeholders that need to be in the room for this access to be improved. If you have committed to your subtopic, go ahead and give a thumbs up or wiggle your fingers so we can see. Welcome back. Welcome back. So there were lots of very active groups out there. If you are now ready for this next 15 minutes and committed to your subtopic, go ahead and give me like 1 or 2 thumbs up so we can see we are together. We're working together Wednesday afternoon. All right, fantastic. I see your thumbs, Molly, both of them. Great. Okay, so now what's going to happen are 3 rounds of writing time. Now, we are going to, plan A is using Google Docs for this activity. If you know that you can access Google Docs, I'm just going to take an informal poll the way I like to. Just wiggle your fingers. You're like, I know I can use Google Docs. Wiggle your fingers on the screen. And you know, and we have them set so you'll jump in and you'll be like anonymous anteaters and hedgehogs, and you'll just be in there in Google Docs running around like little great animals. Fantastic. And if you know, you're like, I know that because of my organization settings or my computer that I'm not going to be able to use Google Docs. You know that, go ahead and wiggle your fingers. We know that happens sometimes. Oh, I see Louise, Mary, I see a few of you. Oh, Yvonne, fantastic. All right, we have a plan for both of these situations because we have a whole team, and that's what it takes to run a collaborative activity. So I ask you that now because I'm going to screen share what the Google Docs look like to orient you to what will be happening. If you are someone who is not able to access them, then we will have 6 breakout rooms, 1 for each of the topics. And in each of those breakout rooms, there will be a NIMAC representative. And that representative will be like your scribe, your assistant, and they will either be able to access the document or they'll at least be able to screen share what's going on in there. So you'll be able to participate along the way, however you choose to participate. There'll be small groups for the people who are to support the people who can't immediately access the Google Docs directly. But before we open those rooms or start that process, and we'll orient everybody together what's going to happen. So here is the organization as has been designed. We have 6 Google Docs. Each of these 6 Google Docs, I have them in tabs on my browser, and in a moment we'll give you the direct links. So see how there's on the top of each of these, it says what the topic is, and very conveniently located under each topic, there is a subtopic for the 3 subtopics, for example, if you chose this topic 4. Notice there is a table here for A, we scroll down, for B, and for C. So, since you have chosen a subtopic, you will have a little project area within to work. So if you chose this area of 4C, of how to incorporate new non-clinical staff roles to expand clinical capacity, then this is your working area. And it is possible you may be joined by an anonymous chicken or an anonymous chipmunk with you. There may be 1, 2, 3 people who are also working. That will be okay. You will bump into each other, you will work around each other. Google Docs are designed for many people to work, and that's actually kind of the interesting thing. What's going to happen for the first 5 minutes? We're going to ask you to focus on just one aspect of this table. The first 5 minutes, your job, individually or collectively, depending on how many people show up, how many cursors show up in your table, is to list. I made 8 spaces here for the top 8 stakeholders that you think are most important to be involved in this, up to 8 in this conversation. If you absolutely need to add, if you need to add more, you can add more rows to the table. You can write below that area, that's your real estate. But the first job is to fill this up, add a few stakeholders who should be there. Then also in that first 5 minutes, you're in this red zone here of the barriers. So for each stakeholder, so if this was a non-clinical staff, what would be an example of a non-clinical staff person who should be involved in this? Go ahead, maybe someone unmute themselves and just tell me an example of, well, who would you put in here as a stakeholder?
And that says parent in chat.
Oh, parent chat. Oh, good. Chat's coming in. Great. A parent. Great. So then you would write someone, you would write, you go here where your cursor is, and you would write parent. And then you'd consider this You might add a bunch of these, and then you consider what are the key barriers for involving and engaging the stakeholder, right? So what gets in the way? And there might be more than one thing. And that's okay, because look, when you hit return, it just makes your table bigger. And then if you put the go ahead, someone type in chat, what could be a barrier to engaging parents in this process?
Liability.
Liability, okay. So liability. Can barely see liability, great. And that probably means something to you, but it's a one-word answer. So you may want to put some comments more specifically, maybe more specificity about that. And then if there are and you can use this table however it works for you, right? You can keep putting this, or you could do parent, another line for parent. It's going to be, make it your own. But for this first 5 minutes, your job is going to be to navigate to your Google Doc and start filling out the stakeholders barriers tables. There are links between the docs at the bottom of each document, but probably the easiest way to do this is we're going to put a link in chat right now, a link to all of the Google Docs. And we will be standing by here to help out with any technical issues. And Fred is going to open up those 6 rooms. So if you're someone who can't access a Google Doc, you can navigate to one of those 6 rooms to get some support. There might be a little bit of tag teaming going on between NIMAC people. There's only a few people who can't access the Google Docs, so we'll sort that out. The people who can't access Google Docs, you can just stay in those rooms for the next 10 minutes or so. We'll send messages when we're moving on to different parts of the table. Because the order we're going to do it is first, and I'm just going to give you a look, it's already happening. So an anonymous chinchilla is in there filling this out. This is the first 5 minutes. The solutions will be the second 5 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes will be touring around between the documents. All right, first 5 minutes, stakeholders and barriers. All right, now let's switch collectively. This is the next piece of 5 minutes or so to pour your heart into solutions. So maybe, and this is another time that you can help out if you see something. And obviously we are working together for 15 minutes. This is not a comprehensive report. So maybe go where's hottest, right? Go deeper in what seems like the most interesting thing to explore, or maybe jump in on someone else's line if there's something you have to contribute to that. So make the next 5 minutes on solutions be as meaningful as possible. You can also comment on solutions or comment on barriers. All right, we are now, it's been really fun watching these documents fill up. We have some active animals out there. Now we're going to do round 3. Round 3 is a topics tour. So now, if you have not left your Google document, this is a good time. You could pop into some other ones. This is the time to show up, to be a voice for maybe there's a stakeholder population you know really well. See what other people are thinking. Share solutions that have been working. See where you can contribute. Ask a question if you see something you don't understand. And also, this is a time you'll notice the last column on the sheet is if you want to add your contact information, because maybe you'd like to keep in touch with the people who are working on this. Go ahead and add your contact information in that last column. So 5 minutes for the topic tour. You can stay in your own Google Doc topic, or you could bounce between Google Docs by clicking the links if you just scroll up a little bit in chat. And again, if you can't access Google Docs, then you can go into a breakout room for your topic, and there'll be somebody to help you who will be screen sharing the documents in those rooms. So what we're going to do now is send you into little groups Alyssa, yes, welcome back. Yes, I'm not quite ready for that part. If it's okay, Alyssa, could people now go to?
Yep.
We may be a little bit, yeah, we're just going in order of activities, if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, because now I think it'd be really fun for people to navigate to their topic room, find out who was in that Google Doc, who was the shrew and who was the sloth and who was the chipmunk.
That's right.
And now you have a little time to talk about what was this like? What did you notice? What did you learn? And perhaps what new solutions or ideas or insights came out of this process? If it reveals next steps, there's some really beautiful offers in the documents, people offering to help and support each other. So we'll just open these rooms. You'll have to find your own room. And we'll give you 10 minutes to have these conversations with your fellow forest friends. And to get to them, you will have to click the breakout room button and find your room. If you need help with that, we are happy to help.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for staying with us all this time and for your participation in that activity. We really look forward to looking at those Google Docs and seeing all of your ideas about how we can all do these important pieces of work through collaboration, and who are those stakeholders that should be at the table and how do we get them there. So I just wanted, this is the last time I think you'll hear from me today. So I want to say thank you for being with us, for all of you that were with us over the past 2 days. It was so fun to see people that I've known for a long time and meet a bunch of new people. And I am now going to pass it to Molly, who's going to share some kind of take-home links with us.
Thanks, Alyssa. Alyssa, I just saw a question in the chat, and I don't know if you know this answer or not, but somebody asked if those Google Docs will be available to the attendees afterwards.
That's a great question.
And maybe you have to think about it.
Could be, right, Erica?
I mean, they're just sitting there. So you all have your fingers in them. I will not do anything about it. I can transfer the ownership over to someone in NIMAC, and then you can make that decision. So they are right now by link only. So if you're in it, you're in it. They're there.
Yeah. All right, great. That sounds great. There was, again, I sort of perused them quickly, and there was some great information in there, great sharing. I thought that was a wonderful way to collaborate virtually, even if we were sloths and pythons as we were doing it. So I know you guys have stuck with us for so long. Really, I just wanted to leave you with a couple of resources. You can check them out. There's lots of information about collaboration. There's all different kinds of things on partnership, and you can test where you're at in that. But I just wanted to throw some out here. I know the slides will be available and you can look at them. Again, some of them are around family engagement. Some of them, well, actually a lot of them are around patient and family engagement within the system. But I did also see that where there's the interprofessional collaborative competencies, and check those out. So with that, I am going to pass it to Joanne so she really can wrap it up for us. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this.